click on the chamfer and then type D for distance. And then it would be 0.75, enter, and then enter again. And then you can just click each side, voila. So that's kind of fun to do. Oh, it's not grabbing that because it's grabbing the dimension. Check this out. I got to move this. The dimension line was getting in the way of the object line, so I was having difficulty doing the chamfer. There it is. Okay, so next would be the arc, this big arc that's in the middle here. Well, I guess it's kind of in the middle. It's definitely centered on the center line. Where is it center vertically? We know it's center horizontally as this center line. But it's center vertically, if you look at the drawing, is just a little bit in from the edge. It's not the edge. It kind of looks like it would be right here, but it's actually 0.19 in. Kind of a random number, but that is the case. That's what it's showing us. So I'm going to go for offset O, enter 0.19. And click this, the most right vertical line over 0.19. So dimension that for you. There it is. And that is our new center for this big arc. So let's draw that. I'm going to do this in my object layer. And that, sorry, the radius is 1.5. And then we'll trim that out. So one more time for you guys. That's the center right there, not the right side edge. It's this line that we offset 0.19. And as you come out, they give us the radial value as 1.5. Turn off my construction lines as I trim that thing away. Okay. All right, next for this top view, there are a few holes. So there is one that's on center. And it's 0.72 from the back edge here, 0.72. So that's where that hole will be. And then from there, the other holes are 1.03. So I'll do that offset now as well. And they are a distance of, also a distance of 1.03 from the center. So if you see that, I can offset this guy up 1.03. All right. So I've offset this distance as 1.03. And this distance was also 1.03. And then our original distance here was 0.72. And so now we have the centers for these three holes. Let's do those with object lines. Their diameters are 0.41. there's a fourth hole in this area here, and that we are shown as being 0.81 away from the far right. So let's do that offset. So this line over 0.81. So there's that. Very close to the chamfer line offset, real close, just a little to the left of it. And that is going to be a limits dimension. So we'll do what we have been doing and just go with the high value. And I'm going to say that is 0.687, not as a diameter, not as a radius, as a diameter. So type D, enter when you do that. D, enter, 0.687. There it is. Okay. Top view is looking pretty good. There is one last object line, and that is going to be over here, a line showing this back chamfer. So there's a chamfer that goes all along the back edge. It is a 45-degree chamfer. And I'm looking on here to see its value. Its value is 0.25. So I'm going to offset this back line 0.25 over. So that's what I just did. And here is the object line we need. Okay, so those are the object lines for the top view. And now we're going to move on and do the, well, we could do the hidden lines now. That would be pretty easy. All that needs to be shown for the hidden line is this, there's just a slot that kind of goes along the bottom on each side. And the width of that slot is 0.47. So that's an easy thing to do. So O, enter, 0.47. Just each. Huh, that's interesting. It appears as though that lines up perfectly with this other offset we've already done, which is the center line of these holes. How cool. So this was this 1.03. So that makes sense because 1.03 plus 0.47 comes out to exactly 1.5. So we don't need to do that offset because that line is already there for us. So this line right here, the center of these circles, is also the edge of the slot below. So that is just a matter of going like that. Okay, so that's it for the hidden lines in the top view. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. And move on to the front view. Hey guys, it sounds like somebody is unmuted. Ken, if you are wanting to ask a question, go for it. But if you don't have anything to say, please mute yourselves. So the overall thickness of this block is 1.59. So I've just, there it is right there. This is the thickness top of it, and that's the bottom of it. And go to my object layer and just do a real quick. So the front view is contained within those object lines. Not a whole lot to do here, a couple offsets. First, the thickness of the slot on the bottom is 0.25, so let's do that one. And the thickness of this cutout, this circular cutout on top, is 0.66, coming down from the top. All right. So let's give you those. The overall was 1.59. This bottom was 0.25. This upper one I just did was 0.66. So those are your offsets so far. That's that slot on the bottom. The chamfer, the big one on the right side, it looks like that. Kinda. Let me zoom in. Those lines are a little close together. Let me see if I can get that snapped on right. There we go. Okay. We had this little chamfer on the back side to do, so that came down 1/4 of an inch. So remember I had to offset that down 1/4, and looks like that. So again, that was a 0.25 offset right there. Mention that for you. Okay, looking pretty good. This face over here's got some issues. Let's address that. I'm going to zoom out a tiny bit. And let's get this figured out. So this face right here, this angled face, the corner of the chamfer lines up with this corner. But we need to show this little bit right in here before the arc begins. So I need to bring a construction line down for that. Okay, so let's do that. I also need to bring down a construction line where this edge of the slot intersects this angled face, which is right there. So the two construction lines I just added, I'll zoom in real close here. They're based on where this angled face, because that's what we're about to draw in the front view, where this angled face intersects these other lines. So where it intersects the arc is here. So that one right there, that's the one I just drew. I'll color it differently so it stands out. and then where the angled face intersected the edge of the slot on the bottom there, which is right there. So those are the two I just put in, and I've highlighted them so you can see them better. And yeah, those are going to be used like this. Up to there. And then that can be pulled back to there. And this one up here can be pulled back to there. And then that line is going to go like that. So I'll turn off the construction lines. You can really see what's going on here. Of course, this is all going away. Let's get rid of that. There it is. So this is what the angled face looks like from the front view. Turn those construction lines back on for you so you can see where those came from. The main thing is these two yellow lines. The other ones are just kind of obvious. They're the edges of the chamfer. But where these two jogs occur, again, comes from where the angled line intersects the arc and where it intersects that edge of the slot. All right. Let's finish up this view here. And to do so, we need to bring down the edges of these holes. So we got a lot of lines about to come in here. A lot of lines. A little messy, but we'll get through it. We'll do the hidden lines first so it's a little more obvious what's going on here. I think I messed these up. Okay. Same thing happened here. You know, it's interesting when you're snapping on a dashed line, it can snap to the actual edges of the dashes. So you need to be careful about doing that. And that just happened to me. So you need to be really careful when you are using a dashed line or even a center line as a snap, because the edges of the dashes are seen as endpoints and they will mess you up. So be careful about using those. I'm going to zoom in real tight here just to make sure I got those right on the money. And it looks like that one's good, and it looks like those are good. So I think I'm all right here. That goes all the way through. Sorry. That's the one in the back. The one on the side here doesn't go all the way through. It goes down to that slot, and then its edges become object lines. So we'll do that in a second. Gosh, did I mess these up too? And this is the edge of this big arc here. And it goes down to here and to there. So we got a few things going on here. Turn this off. This guy here is the circular cutout. So the circular cutout begins here as an object line and then continues on as a hidden line through here and goes all the way to this back edge. There is a hole in its center, which is here, and that goes all the way through. So there's that. We got a hole here that drops down and then half goes into the slot. So we need to show those edges as it continues on half into that slot. And then this one just goes all the way through the whole part. I believe that is it for all of our object lines and hidden lines. So we can come back and do our center lines later on here with the dimensions. Okay. Last view, right side view. Put that 45-degree line here. And then the vertical lines. We do need to bring across the edges of this arc. So let me do that now. Right where the arc intersects that angled line, just like before. So we need that to show up here as well. Put that in there. That's the one I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting yes. Sorry, I realize what I'm doing now. I was just mirroring this to the other side. Okay. So that is that big cutout for the arc right there. Then we have these slots on the bottom. And they are like this. Trimming away this stuff in here. Oh, you know what? I forgot about this hole in the front. We're gonna have to project those hidden lines into the other views as well. There's a hole that's in the front here that looks like it goes through the entire object. They didn't show us the hidden lines for that. That's kind of why I didn't realize it. But yeah, that must go through all the way. So we'll get that in a minute. All right, look, object lines are looking pretty good, except for that hole in the front. I think, take that back, where this guy is right here. All right, so that's it. For the lines, let's do the circle, and then we'll be done with our object. So that hole here is 0.47 up from the bottom. So from the bottom up, 0.47, there it is. Let's extend that across. So circle D, enter 0.47. Oops, sorry, it's 0.44 as its diameter. Here it is. And then we'll be showing that in the other views going through the entire thing. It's going to make a little bit of a mess here, unfortunately. My goodness. Is that on the money? That appears to be on the money. Force. Looks like those are already lined up. That's interesting. So the bottom of this hole is perfectly aligned with the bottom of this little slot on the side here. So that's interesting. Okay, take that. Let's do those hidden lines. So we're not going to have a hidden line showing the bottom of it because, except for right in here, because the rest of the way it's this object line. So just this little bit from there to there is hidden, and then of course the entire length of that hole, there is that. So yeah, that makes things a little messy. And then in the top view, we could just project this up or just offset this center line, you know, which is probably what I'm going to do. 0.22. So just offsetting a 0.22 on both sides, which is the radius, and then changing that to construction. There it is. Now you can trace over it with the hidden line all the way across. Okay. Looking good. Okay, front view is complete for object. How about hidden? A lot of hidden. We got to bring these holes down, the larger holes down. So we need to project that stuff across here. Let's do that. Get these guys, boom, boom, this one there, there, and then this one. These are going to be just right next to each other. These holes are very similar, but they're not the same. This one is 44, And these are all 41, so just 3 hundredths difference. All right, let's bring those down here, and then here, and then the center one, of course. This one on the side, I'm just going to mirror over to the other. Interesting little bit here. This hole coming down goes through this hole here, and it's actually a little smaller. So its edges, if you look closely, they come in and they would be removed. So you could trim this stuff away. Just to be technically correct there. And here's the hole on the side. Like I was saying, we could just mirror that to the other if we wanted. Whatever. Or draw it, your call. Okay, those are all of the holes. Just about. We also have the large one up here. This guy to do. Let's project him down. A lot of holes. My goodness. That one there and this one there. Put those on the construction layer. And the big hole goes from there to there and there to there. Okay. Wow. And lastly, this chamfer going all the way across the back. There is that. Okay.